Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi students, welcome back with me in academic reading. In this reading, we are going to focus on reading that usually appears in international standardized tests. Yes, it is TOEFL test. So there are several skills that you need to learn in this semester so that you will be familiar with reading passage in TOEFL test and will be able to answer the questions. And reading comprehension section in TOEFL test is designed to measure the ability to read and understand the passage. You will read a variety of passages on academic subjects. Each passage is followed by a number of questions about the material. To avoid giving an advantage to individuals in any one field of study, sufficient context is provided so that no subject-specific familiarity with the topic is required to answer the questions. In this meeting, we will learn the first two skills in answering TOEFL tests, and those are answer main idea questions correctly, and then the second skill is recognizing the organization of ideas. Now let's start with the first skill first. Almost every reading passage in TOEFL test will have questions about the main idea of a passage. Such a question may be worded in a variety of ways. You may, for example, be asked to identify the topic, subject, title, primary idea, or main idea. These questions are all really asking what primary point that the author is trying to get across in the passage. Since TOEFL passages are generally written in a traditionally organized manner, it is actually not difficult to find the main idea by studying the topic sentence, which is most probably found at the beginning of the paragraph. If a passage consists of only one paragraph, you should study the beginning of that paragraph to determine the main idea. So, typical questions that commonly appear in this skill are such as, what is the main topic of the passage, and then what is the main idea of the passage, or what is the subject, main purpose, or primary topic, or other's main point of the passage, or probably the passage deals mainly about, the passage is mainly about, blah blah blah. If there is such question that you read in TOEFL test, where do you find the answer? Well, actually the answer to this type of questions can generally be determined by looking at the first sentence of each paragraph. And how to know the answer of the questions? You can answer the questions by following these steps. You need to read the first line of each paragraph and then look for a common theme or idea in the first lines, and then pass your eyes quickly over the rest of the passage to check that you really have found the topic. And then the next is eliminate any definitely wrong answer and choose the best answer from the remaining choices. Now let's discuss about this example. For example, in a TOEFL test in reading section, you will read or you will find a text like this about the philosophy of John Dewey. In the philosophy of John Dewey, a sharp distinction is made between intelligence and reasoning, blah blah blah, until the last sentence that shapes one's life. And then after that, you will be provided with the questions. For example, what is the topics of this passage? And the choices are A, the intelligence of John Dewey, and then B, distinction made by John Dewey, C, Dewey's idea on the ability to reason, and then D, how intelligence differs from reasoning and in Dewey's works. Okay, now let's see choice A, the intelligence of John Dewey. So actually, this choice is too broad or too general because it is only talking about the intelligence. And then choice B, the distinctions made by John Dewey. It is also too broad because it mentions the distinction but doesn't mention the details of its distinctions. And then C, Dewey's idea on the ability to reason. It is actually too specific because it only mentions about reasoning, thus it is not complete. And the last is how intelligence differs from reasoning in Dewey's work. This is actually the correct answer because it mentions at the beginning of the paragraph. So the correct answer of the previous questions is D. Now, let's move on to the next skill, skill 2. For skill number 2 is recognize the organization of ideas. In the reading comprehension section of the TOEFL test, there will sometimes be questions about the organization of the ideas in the passage. In these types of questions, you will be asked to determine how the ideas in one paragraph or paragraphs relate to the ideas in another paragraph. So it is focusing on recognizing how to find specific information in the reading passage, especially mind ideas, moreover, main topic. And then the typical questions that commonly appear for these skills, such as how is the information in the passage organized, or probably how is the information in the second paragraph related to the information in the first paragraph. So to answer this type of questions, it can generally be determined by looking at the first sentence of the appropriate paragraphs. So as you can see here, how to answer the questions. The first, you need to read the first or the last line of each paragraph, and then you need to determine the type of paragraphs, whether it is deductive, inductive, or mixed. And then the next is you need to eliminate answer choices. There are 2 general, 2 specific, or not related at all to the topic of reading. And the last, you don't be too long reading in the passage. So you don't need to be a long reading in the passage. Now let's see the example of reading sections or reading passage here. There is a text about if I ask who invented the game of baseball, most Americans would probably reply that it was their belief that Abner Doubleday did. And then there are 3 paragraphs here until the last paragraphs, and you are going to be asked about the questions, how is the information in the passage organized, and then the choices are an idea is presented and then refuted, and then the second is a concept is followed by example, the third or C is a cause is followed by an effect, and then the last or D is a belief is supported with reason. So basically, these questions ask about the topic of the passage. To answer this question, it is necessary to look at the main idea of each paragraph from the text. The main idea of the first paragraph, as you can see here, is if I ask who invented the game until Abner Doubleday did. And then for the second paragraph, the main idea is the first sentence, and it is Doubleday was given credit for this invention until full stop. And then for the third paragraph is today, most sports historians are in agreement that Doubleday really did not have much to do with the development of baseball. So if you study about the information in the first line of each paragraph, you can determine that the third paragraph contradicts or refutes the information that is presented in the first 2 paragraphs. So actually, the answer A is the best answer to these questions. An idea is presented and then refuted. So that's the example questions of skill 1 and also skill 2. Reading passage of TOEFL test. It is easy, right? And now this is your turn to take practice answering the questions of TOEFL reading sections. I hope you are able to answer the questions correctly. Good luck and see you in the next meeting with the next skills. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and goodbye.